What's up, guys? Take a look at these new rims. Look at this, gold rims. These are Evo wheels and tires. We've got a bunch of wheels and tires here. I've been buying and selling a bunch of stuff so we can make some extra money for something for the channel. Stay tuned. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Caleb. Yes, I'm driving with no hands, and today we're gonna compare the Z06 to the ZR1. Let's go. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the top of a parking garage in the beautiful city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is my new home, and I'm really loving it here so far. So let's get into this video. So behind me, I have my 2006 Corvette Z06. Now, I wanted to make this video because a lot of people have to make this decision when they're taking a look at buying a C6 Corvette. Do they get the Z06 or do they upgrade to the ZR1? And we're gonna go over all the differences of both of those today, and I'll tell you why I chose the Z06. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of all the differences between the Z06 and the ZR1, I think it's important that you understand the price of these cars right now. Currently, the C6 Z06 is priced at about 30 grand in the used market, probably a tad bit above that, and the ZR1 is priced at 60 grand in the used market. And it looks like both of those are going to be holding their value pretty well, so those are probably going to be relatively consistent prices for a while. But I do believe that the ZR1, like most ZR1s and like most more luxurious cars, it will hold its value better as time passes. And I think price is one of the biggest factors in this decision because of the fact that the Z06 is half as much as the ZR1. So just keep that in mind when I go over all these specs. So one of the first things you notice when you look at the Z06 opposed to the ZR1 is the appearance. Walking around the car right now, let's take a look at some of the things that are different on the ZR1 and the Z06. Starting off right in front, you have the hood, which on the ZR1, they have a glass panel right here in the center of the hood that peeks in and shows you the supercharger, which is a super cool thing to have. And unfortunately, I don't have a glass panel on my hood or a supercharger, so those are both negative effects against the Z06. All around the ZR1, you have ground effects, the front splitter, and on the side, all of that is carbon fiber, which is really cool. The carbon fiber is plentiful on the ZR1, which unfortunately I don't have a lot of carbon fiber on this car, which is something that would have been really cool, with the exception of this rear spoiler that I do have, but this was aftermarket, so this doesn't come on the Z06. The roof is actually slightly different between the Z06 and the ZR1 as well. Slightly different styling, but nothing that you're really gonna notice. Another difference between the two of these are the fenders. The fenders on the Z06 are slightly wider than the base. They're actually a decent amount wider than the base model. However, the ZR1 is even wider. It's not a whole lot, but it is slightly wider on the fenders. So those are gonna be all the appearance related differences. And as you can see, they're really not that much different from the outside. Sometimes I even have to take a second to glance to figure out which one it is. However, where these cars really start to differentiate is under the hood. Now, when it comes to performance of these two vehicles, the biggest differentiation in those is the motor. The Z06 is a naturally aspirated 7.0 liter V8, whereas the ZR1 is a supercharged 6.0 liter V8. The type of power that these cars put down is a little bit different as well. The Z06 comes in at 505 horsepower with 470 pound-feet of torque, whereas the ZR1 has 638 horsepower and 604 pound-feet of torque. So the ZR1 has about 130 more horsepower than the Z06, which is pretty darn significant when you think about how light these cars are. They weigh exactly the same. However, However, they're both still pretty light, coming in at about just 3,000 pounds, which is extremely light when you've got 500 or 600 horsepower. Part of the reason that these cars are so light is because they came at a time around the 2006 to 2010 era where you were getting a lot of power being pushed into these GM cars, but the technology wasn't extremely plentiful and the interiors weren't super crazy. They didn't add all of this weight with all the new technology and everything like that, so you get a great performance car that's also super light. Now, let's take a look at the speed numbers that these cars have. The Z06 has a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds. I personally tested this in one of my videos, and here's what I got. My time was a 3.80 to 60, and my quarter mile time in this car was a 3.9. On paper, this car makes a 3.50 to 60 and an 11.4 quarter mile time. One of the things I've preached in some of my videos before is that the numbers you're seeing online, unless it's done by a third party, a YouTuber or somebody else like that, they're usually going to be the best possible numbers that the car can produce. I'm not saying that manufacturers lie. I don't think that they do. However, they're putting a pro driver behind the seat, absolute best conditions, you know, best tires, best altitude. So it's kind of unrealistic to think that you're going to make those numbers every single pass that you make. The ZR1, however, has a 0 to 60 time of 3.3 and a quarter mile time of 11.2. So definitely faster in both of those categories. So the ZR1 is definitely faster and better in all of those categories. I mean, it obviously should be because you're going to be paying a lot more, and it's GM's top of the line Corvette, absolute best Corvette you can get. So it should be better and it should be faster. However, now we're going to answer the question, what should you buy? You know, which one should you get? So the answer to that is, it really depends on what you want to do with the car. The Z06 is a great platform, and a lot of people use it for a naturally aspirated motor. The transmission and the LS7 work wonders together. The LS7 produces a massive amount of torque, and the transmission really utilizes it. I would say that the transmission is the best part about the Z06. Your gears are extremely long, and the car just keeps pulling. Whenever you go to the drag strip or you're just playing around on the road, you don't have to keep thinking, oh, what am I going to shift next? What am I going to shift next? You can really utilize the entirety of the gear, and you're just pulling through the whole gear up until 7,000 RPMs, and that is the best part about this car, in my opinion. So a lot of people don't buy this car to build it. And the reason why is because it doesn't have the highest amount of reliability. And that is because of the LS7 heads issue. If you don't know what that is, I would recommend doing some research before you make a purchasing decision. But basically, it just can cause a lot of failures in the engine and possibly cause you a whole lot of monetary loss in the future if your engine does blow up because of it. I don't exactly know the statistics on how likely that is to happen to you, so I'm not gonna, spew off false information to you guys. However, it's definitely worth doing some research on. On the flip side, if you wanted a crazy build and you want something to put a lot of money into and make extremely cool and make the absolute best of the best, the ZR1 is for you. Now, the ZR1 obviously is the best one that GM has made. It's the top of the line and everything. You have that 6.2 supercharger combo, which works wonders, and you're definitely going to be the leader of the Corvette pack wherever you go. However, your ultimate decision really depends on price. Is the ZR1 worth 2 times as much as the Z06 in this current market? In my opinion, and in my personal financial situation, no. I honestly think that the Z06 is one of the best, if not the best value you can get for a car, and I just wasn't in the financial position to spend twice as much money on the same car, but the best version of it. So I really think that the Z06 is a nice happy medium between the base model and the top of the line model. I think you get a lot of power and you get a lot of everything for your money. If I had the money and I was planning on doing a super build on a Corvette, I definitely would have gone for the ZR1. I think it's obviously the best one out there, but for the money, I don't think it is. Based on the statistics and based on everything about these two cars, it's obviously apparent that the ZR1 is better than the Z06. However, I don't think based on price, it's twice as good. I don't think that it's 2 times better than the Z06. But that decision could be different for you. Maybe you're in the position where spending an extra 30 grand to get the best model isn't a big deal. But in my life and in my current situation, it is a big deal. So that's why I made this decision. But at the end of the day, I'm extremely happy with my decision, and I definitely would have done the Z06 if I were to do it over again. I still plan to do a lot of stuff to this car, and we're gonna build it and we're gonna make it look really cool for the channel and for you guys. I'm kind of thinking exhaust, cams, long tube headers, tune, definitely need some better appearance mods. I've got a plan to do get the roof wrapped and then tint everything, make it at least look a little bit better for now, and we'll take it from there. You know, we'll see how it goes, see how you guys like it. But let me know in the comments below what you thought. Maybe there was something I missed about the two cars, and if you have anything to add, please let me know. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the subscriber that gave me this idea for a video. If you guys have any ideas for videos or maybe questions, or I'm always open to ideas, just hit me up on my Instagram at Cayleb Pletos, and I'll be sure to talk to you guys there. That's the best place to get a hold of me if you want to. So that's gonna be all for this video, guys. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. That is absolutely huge. Please help us get there. Hit that like button while you're there if you like this video. Make sure to stick around, and I'll see you in the next one.